Good morning everyone. Welcome to the fourth session of 2 days online workshop Basics of MATLAB and its engineering application. Till now we discussed about the various type of variables, operators, commands in MATLAB. Then in third session we discussed about the analysis and data visualization of matrix and vectors. Till now we are discussing about the commands only single line commands we are executing in the command window. Now in this session we will discuss about programming constructs in MATLAB. Now programming constructs means we have to design the code, we have to program something for particular application. So programming construct can be written in some script file, and that file is written in the editor. Functioning of editor window we already seen in session 1, that is the introduction to MATLAB desktop windows. Now there are two script files. We can write the code or multiple line. We can write the multiple line code in script file or in function file. That script file is nothing but simple text file. In previous lectures someone is asked about what is the difference between the .m and .mat file. So in command history we create some variable, like all the variables which are created in the command line, that will be saved as a matrix. Either it is 1 by 1 matrix, 2 by 2 matrix, 3 by 3 and so on. So that matrix variables can be stored in the files with the extension .mat. So that is a matrix database file. And in script file we write actual code. So that script file is nothing but our MATLAB file. So that extension will be .m file. So all the script file of MATLAB will be stored with extension .m. Now next is the function file. Some inbuilt functions we already seen in the last 3 sessions, like cd command for the system commands, that is cd, clear all, and some functioning command related with some variable. So all those commands are the inbuilt command which are stored in the MATLAB library. Now function files means we have to create new function and we can write the function by own. So our own quantity of code, our own functioning of code which is stored in our local system, and that file will be stored with the function command, and that will be stored with the function file. Again for the function file the extension is again .m, because it is a kind of script file only. So in further session we see how we create the command file and how we create the script file. Now next, the script file is look like this in the MATLAB window. We already see it is a editor window. We can write the multiple lines of code here, and we can run the code with the command as a run command. We can run the code with there is a button provided there, that is run. Next is the M file programming feature. Now in the M file or in the script file, what functioning or what features we can do in the script file. So first function is we can create the sub functions also. Means function file we can create in the M file. With some extra commands we can use to create some sub functions. Then some input output variables we can use, as the number of variables can vary. Then we can change our input and output arguments also. Then there are some local variables and some global variables are there. Now what is meant by local variable and what is meant by global variable? So inside function, when we call some variable inside function, that variables we called as a local variable, or some variables. Those variables which are called inside the function, that is a local variable, and those variables which are called outside the function globally, that is a global variable. And inside the function, actual functioning inside the code with that variable is called as a local variable. Then some input user commands we can use, like execution of code, then prompting will provide. Then some error and warning messages we can read with the script file. Then some shell scripting operators we can use, and then that code will be designed with some vectoring loops and some pre-allocating arrays. The basic part of the function file. Now function file is created, or function file is get divided into 3 main parts. First part is we have to define the function with the function tag. First part is we have to define the function with the function tag, or we can say function command. Then call some variable, that is our output variable. In this output variable we have to store our function name and its argument. So what is the function name here? Some name will be provided, that is mean, and some argument is provided to that mean, that is x. Always remember our function file name should be the name of that function. Means if we write the function for function y is equals to mean x, so our function file name should be mean dot, then some online help, or we can add some comment with the percentage sign to define the function, to describe the function. And then what is the operation of our function, that will be described after the declaring of function. So these are the main three parts of our function, and with these three parts we can create the function. First is function definition, last part is the functioning code, so that is the operation of that function. Then data types. So we already see the data types, all the variables we can define in the MATLAB, that is array. Define the array in character, in numeric, in cell, in structure, in function handle. Now structure and function handle is new one. Now in the numeric array we can define the integer format, 8 bytes, 16 bytes, 32 bytes, some signed and unsigned. If we have to declare some negative values, then signed variable we can use, that is int 8, int 16, like that. And if we have to define both positive as well as negative values, then some unsigned variables we have to define, that is you define unsigned variable. So some single digit numeric value we can define, some double and spares we can define, and all these variables, all these data type we can use for the single dimensional, multi-dimensional array, some structure and some function and functions also. Then what is the structure of structure? So what is mean by structure? If we have to create some database of particular function, or of particular we can say object. So for particular object we have to create some database. So for this object, what is the object name? Our object name is patient, or we can say our variable name is patient. Inside this variable some variables are situated, so that is a cascaded type of array. So inside function or inside object there are multiple variables can be written. So if we have to call the name of that patient, then we have to call patient dot name as a variable name. If we have to call the billing of that patient, then we have to call object first dot billing. So this is the kind of object oriented programming. So in previous session we see ki our MATLAB feature is MATLAB is a object oriented programming environment. So this is the object oriented programming environment, and this is the demonstration of the object oriented. We can call the variable with some object. So multiple variable, cascaded variable we can design in the structure. Next, now control flows. What is the use of control flow? So single variable every time we cannot control with the programming, or if our program has more than one variable functioning the same, means we are using hundreds of integer values to store some integers only. So all the functions are related to the same operation. So in this case we have to control it with some single variable, and we have to design the flow of that variable, or we have to decide the flow of that variable. So how many flow statements are there? So there are three types of flow statements. So out of that, first statement is called as if-else statement. So it is a kind of conditional statement. So what is meant by conditional statement? We already see that some relational or some conditional operators are there, that is equal to, and functioning, or functioning. So logically when we compare two variables, then some logic is defined, either it is equal to, greater than, less than. So that comparison we need to get the outcome of that comparison. So our first statement is if statement. If we are giving some condition here, in bracket we have to define one condition, that is a comparison between two. So condition may be equal to, less than equal to, greater than equal to, not equal to. So like that conditional operators we can use here to define the condition. So in if statement, if here A equals to B, then we have to do some operation here inside if, and after doing some operation, if we have to end this condition, then we have to write end. So this is the syntax for if condition. Now second is we can use if else condition. In normal way we talk, if this is happen, then do this, and if this is not happen, then do that. So like that we have to define the condition with if else statement. Means we have to do two operation. If condition true, then we have to do this, and else if condition else means if condition is get false, then we have to do that. So if condition is related with our condition, provided condition A equals to B, then we have to do this operation, else we have to do that operation. So here we have to write some operation and end the if statement. Then cascaded kind of if else ladder is there. Now if we have to compare more than two conditions at a time, A means if we have to compare two numbers, either that numbers are equal, that number is less or greater, there is a possibility to arise three conditions, either they are equal, either one of them is equal, either one of them is less. So three conditions are arise. So like that conditions we can put with if statement. If A equals to B, then we have to do some operation. Else if A is greater than B, then do that. Else means other than these two conditions, equals to or greater than, then we have to do another thing. Then we have to end the if statement. So if else conditions are related with the comparison. Now next control statement is the for loop. Now for loop is for multiple iterations we have to done with this for loop. Now what is meant by iteration? So we have to creating a loop. What is meant by loop now? Now loop is we have to do the continuous operation in with some condition. Means we have to initialize one condition. From here we have to start working. We have to set some finish point to end that working, and that working condition will be in a loop. So that is our for loop. So for the for loop we have to set one initial and final statement. So for the syntax is like this. For we have to set the initial value, colon means we have to define the scope of variable. 1 is the starting element and 10 is the finish element. So scope is colon means each element is incremented by 1. So some incrementation is also provided here. So for the for loop we need three conditions. So first we have to define the initial condition, second we have to define the final condition, and third we have to decide either we have to increment or decrement of that loop. So after writing that scope of that for loop, then we can write some operation here, and after doing operation we have to end that loop. Here some x is defined, and that x we have to initialize with 0 value, and we have to keep adding I in that x. If x is 0, initially what is value of I? 1. So 0 plus 1 is get added and stored in the x value. Variable I shifted 2 value because scope is given, so 2 value. Now again do this condition. So after getting 10 value, then after getting the 10 value, finish loop is there, then we have to finish our for loop with the end statement. Now while loop. While and for loop are the same, only syntax is different. We have to define some condition for the while, and then we have to do the operation and we have to end the loop. So like that we can use the while loop. Again while loop can be used with if statement. While condition is arise, then do some operation, again check with the condition that with the if statement. If result is greater than I, then we have to break the loop, means we have to stop reading condition and end if, and then end while loop. We have to use this flow statement while doing the programming to customize our program or to customize our operation. Now come to the MATLAB window. Now you can practice with me. We can start with our coding in MATLAB. Now all the basics are get covered, that are we are defining some variables, then we are defining some operator. We know about the variables, we know about the operator and some commands. So instead of writing code in our command window, now we have to write our code in a script window or editor window. Now zoom in option is used to get idea about from where you have to select the script. Then go to the home and select new. Inside new there are multiple options are provided. Out of that we have to select the script option to create the script. After clicking script, one window is appear, that is editor window. Now double click on this window and we have to write our code in this editor window. Now in editor window you should write the programming with adding some comment. So it is very helpful to read the program to the other users also. So every time you should write some comment to your programming. So we have to take one example, that is get the input from the user, means get the values from the user and calculate the averages of some number. Now we have to take one value or one variable as x1. So we have to get the value from user, then we have to use the input command. So input, enter first value, or first value we can enter by the user. So like that we can enter multiple values and calculate the average of that. If we are putting the same variable, then it always get overridden. So keep it in mind, we have to change the variable name. So enter the first value, enter second value, third, now we have to calculate the average of these four numbers. So what is the formula for average? We have to calculate average as x1 plus, we have to sum all the values together. We can use sum operation also, but we can do with the element by element operation. Now result is get displayed. Now if we put semicolon here, so for every statement if we put semicolon here, so no any output is appear in our output console, that is command window. So if we remove the semicolon for this, then we get the output as average equal to, if we put semicolon then it directly get the value, and we have to display the average value separate if we put semicolon over previous statement. Now save this command, save this in our current directory. Our current directory is pointing to MATLAB Workshop session 4, and we have to save this file with average.m extension. .m, why? Because it is a script file. Now we have to run this program with the menu bar from editor. Editor run option is there, then we have to click on run option. Now we have to go to the layout again. Now layout we have to keep the 3 column layout. Output screen is get appear here. Now see, so what is our input? So our from the program, what is the first line? So this is the editor and below one is the command window. So output is appear on this command window. So first line is that we have to enter our first value, then we have to enter our second value, then we have to enter our third, like that fourth value, and some averages get displayed. So that is 4.500. So this is the outcome of our first code. So by this way we can see the output our given code on the command window. Now see here in the workspace, Till now, how many variables are created? 4 variables are created and one average is also created in the program file, that is M file. So all the variables are get stored in the workspace. Now again we change some input, that is we have to add first two numbers only, that is y equals to x1 plus x2 semicolon, and we have to remove the semicolon. We have to display the y on the screen. Now again we have to go to the editor and click on run option. Now see, on the command window, previous output is also appear with our new output or new execution of code. Now see, on command window, with the previous output we get the current execution of the code. So we have to enter the 4 numbers as 4, 5, 6 and 7, and after clicking enter, for what output we will get first, that is y, because y is equals to x plus 2 operation is done first, and then we are displaying average z, so that display average z is created on the after executing y. Now see, on the workplace again, now previous values are get overwritten and new values are get stored in the workspace. Now to avoid this confusion, we have to write some command always before start writing our code. So one command is CLC command. So why CLC command is we use? Because every time we have to get the fresh command window. For CLC it clear all the command window, and to get the fresh inputs which is to be stored in our workspace, that will be get from the clear all command. So clear all, get all the workspace data is get clear, that is from script file, that is from command window and from function window also. Now press Ctrl S to save this program and again hit run the program. Now see, on the command window our previous sessions outcomes are get cleared because of CLC command. Now if we put variable 4, 6 and 7, and if we hit enter, now new workspace variables are get created because previous variables are get cleared by clear all command. Next part is the conditional statement. We have to demonstrate on if else condition. Our problem statement is we have to get the root of quadratic equation, that is ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0, and we have to check the conditions of the for the getting roots, that is b square minus 4ac, if it is equals to 0, if it is greater than 0, or if it is less than 0. Then for getting input from the user for this quadratic equation, so what input we have to get from the user? We have to get the coefficients of this quadratic equation, that is we have to get the a value, then we have to get the b value, and we have to get the c value from the user. So these are user defined inputs. We have to get the x is equals to input, enter the coefficients of the quadratic equation. Then how many elements we have to enter? We have to enter the 3 elements. So we have to enter in the matrix format. Now if we have to enter the coefficients of quadratic equation, then we have to put a equals to input, then we have to input the quadratic equation coefficient, that is a, b, c in the matrix format. Then the coefficients will get in the form of a1 must be equals to a, a2 must be equals to b, a3 must be equals to c. Then we are finding roots equals to that this equation is nothing but this b square minus 4ac. So we have to calculate as square root of this. So this is our equation. So which equation it is? We have to calculate the root of quadratic equation, that is square root function we have to use square root of b square minus 4ac, and that square after getting this square root we get some value, and that value must be value may be equal to 0, greater than 0 or less than 0, and that conditions we have to put in a if else statements. Now see, we put the root as a root in a condition because the root contain the equation as square root of b square minus 4 into a into c. Now our root may be equals to 0. What we want to display? We want to display roots are 0. Else we have to display roots are some value, either it is positive or negative. So this is our first code or first if else condition. So if the roots are 0, then we have to display like this, and if roots are not 0 means else roots are something else. Now we have to save this code with Control S, and we have to save with quadratic.m. Now we save this code with extension with file name quadratic.m, and we have to run the program by hitting run. Now after hitting run, again we have to set the layout as a 3-column layout. Now after hitting enter, now see, some previous outputs are get displayed because we have missed to write CLC and clear all command. And again save this code, and again we have to go to the editor and hit run. Now after hit run, we get this output, and we have to put first enter the number of coefficient. Then how many element we have to put? We have to put 3 element. Then we have to put 3 element in the matrix format because MATLAB know only matrix element. So some element I put, that is 1, 2, 3. So 1 is A value, 2 is B value, and 3 is C value. After hitting enter, now after hitting enter, what output we get? We get roots are some values. Now we have to display that value from our code, means our else statement is executed here because we get some output as a value. We have to display the output, or we have to display the roots. So we have to put the display roots here so that we can understand which root we get from the given code. So which command we use? We have to use display command. Now save this command. So inside if condition, if root is 0, then we have to display the root, and then we have to get this message. Else if roots are something, then we have to display some value and get some message. Now save this code and hit enter. Now again we put the same value, that is 1, 2 and 3, separated by space or separated by comma you have to write. Now here roots are get displayed. Roots are some complex number we get, that is 0 plus 0.284i. Now roots are some values. Now we rearrange the code as that some value may be a positive number or that values may be a negative number. Now our code is get revised. The roots are greater than or equal to 0, means first condition is if roots are equals to 0, then roots are 0 and display that root. Now if roots are else if, now else if condition is there because multiple conditions we use here. If roots are greater than or equal to 0, then it must be positive number. Else means remaining than these two conditions, greater भी नहीं है, equal भी नहीं है, then it is a less than. It is other than these two conditions, not roots are not equal to 0 or roots are not greater than 0, means it is a less than 0. So else condition is there, then we have to display the roots are negative as a message. So else condition need not have any condition to be write here. Else statement is only we have to write else. But if condition has for the if condition we require to write one condition. For else if statement we require to write one condition. So these are the compulsory field, but else statement need not require any condition to be write. Now we have to hit run and we have to set the plot as 3 column. Now what output we get? We have to enter the elements. Now same elements we are entering here. So what output we get? We get some root, and that root must be a positive value. We understand? Please comment. Now next program is we have to demonstrate for the for loop. Now for loop we have to define for with some iterator variable, that is I equals to. Now we have to define the scope from initial number to the final number. Now we are defining the scope from I is equals to 1 to 10. Means 10 iterations we have to perform for the for loop and end statement. In between, inside the for loop we have to write some operation. Now what we should write in this? Now we do some operation, arithmetic operation. We are defining x variable first, x is equals to 0, and sequentially we add x is equals to x plus I. What we get the output of this? See, we are defining x, that value initialized with 0. Now initially what is the value of x? 0. Now we are defining for loop for I is equals to 0, 1 to 10 number. Means initially what is the value of I? That is 1. So initially what operation is done? It is 0 plus 1, and that 0 plus 1 is 7, value x, and that x value we are displaying here. Now our finish condition is get arrive here? No, because our value is 1. Now scope is defined, means it get increment by 1. So how much is it increment? By 1 till we get the final scope. Now what is the value of I now? Now our value of I is 2 now. Now what is previous value of x which is get displayed? That is 1. So it is 1 plus 2 is 3. Now x values get updated and displayed 3. Now again check for I condition. Now is it final values are right or not? Now value of I is get 3. 3 is equal to 10 hai kya? No. So that again it perform the operation likewise till the value of I is equals to 10. This operation is going on inside the for loop. So that it is called a loop. Now we save this program with file name for demo.m and run this program. So what will get output here? See. So we will get number of iteration for value x. So what is the first value of x? That is 1, because it performed first operation, that is 0 plus 1, that is 1. X value is get displayed here. Now I values get updated, that is 2. Now previous value of x is 1, so 1 plus 2 is 3 is get displayed. So how many iterations we done here? We done 10 iteration from I 1 to 10. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10. So 10 iterations we done here with the for loop. Now next is we have to read the data from file with function fread. Now for that we have to create one file in the same location. I create one file in same location containing text hello students. In the script file we have to open that file location with some variable we have to declare to open that file. So that variable is considered as a buffer. In that buffer we store that file, and we have to operate on that file, right? Like read file, close file, and some write file. We can do some operation over that buffer variable, that is FID. So you can take any variable instead of FID. I just give the name of that variable. Then we have to use function fopen. So with the fopen we have to open that file and we have to give the location of that file. So location is same, so that we just give the name of that file. If the location of file is different than the current directory, then we have to get the location of file here. So our file name is abc.txt. so it is a text file, it is a string kind of input. Then we have to give it in a single quoted format. Then we have to perform the read operation. Then we have to perform read operation. Then we have to use the command fread. Then what we have to read now here are some suggestion help is given by so which attributes are required to read the file. We need file ID, where we locate the file in buffer variable. That variable we have to call here. Then size of file we have to declare here, and some precisions we have to declare here. Then precision means that that text file in which precision we have to read, in character precision, in integer precision. So that precision values we are getting as a output on the command window. So here what is the file ID? Our file ID is FID. So instead of precision, instead of size, I directly give some. Okay, I give size as 100 by 100. So that matrix, that much 100 by 100 column and row wise matrix is defined, and that 100 by 100 column and row variables we can read from that file. Now that file belongs to which format? That is character format. For character precision we have to use the *char, and after reading the file we have to close that file using function fclose. Which file we want to close? FID file we want to close. Now save this file and run. Hit run, and in the command window the output is look like this. So it is in column vector format. So all the characters we are putting in our abc.txt file is displayed in a column vector format. So why this is so? Because matrix read column wise number, means matrix read the cells from in column wise. So we have to change this matrix size with 1 row and 100 column position. So save this file and again hit run. Then see, our answer is hello student. We missed to put CLC command, so previous output is also displayed here. So CLC semicolon we put here. Again save this file and run this file. Then run this file and we get the output as hello students, which is same as input given in a file. So you can do with the file write operation by your own, and if any query in that file write, you can do the operation as file write and again read that file after writing new content in that file. And if you have any doubt, then you can freely ask to me. Till now we practice over the script file, how we create the script file, how we write the code, how we execute the code. Till now we discuss about this. Now we have to switch on functions. Now how we write function for particular application? Now go to new tab and select for function. So when we select the function file, the automatically syntax of the function is appear here in the editor window. Now function syntax contain some I already told function syntax contain 3 fields. That is, first field is the function command. Then we have to write the output argument, by which argument we have to call that function. That argument we have to declare here. Then we have to give some function name, and that function name should be same as our file name, and pass some input argument here. This input argument we are passing here, that argument we called as a global argument, because that argument we have to use in our script file, and that arguments are globally used by the all the script files, so that argument is called as a global argument or global variable we say. Then we have to add some comment, detailed explanation about the function, and end the function. So this is the format of this function file, and this function file is saved with the function name with extension .m. Now here we create a function to find the square and cube root for the specific number. So to find the square and cube root number, we need this function specifies this function. I create a function to find square and cube of specific number. So for this function we need two output variable, that is s and c. In s we store the square of that number, and in c we store the cube of that number, and specific number is our x number. So it is our input argument, and s and c are the output argument. So for this method is required, so that first we have to calculate the square of that number. So that number is x. So x into x we get square. So we display the text square, and we display the output which is stored in variable s. Now for the cube root, we can write x into x into x, or we can write c equals to x raised to, so that raised to sign is shift 6 raised to 3. So we can write cube root is like this also. So cube root is x into x into x. So we display cube as a text and display c, that is result stored in c variable. Display c because c is the variable which contain the result of cube value, and end the function. So this is our function file, which this is our function file, and the function file name should be same as function name written in our program. So that file will be stored in the same location, and we create the second file to test that function. Now this function is now user defined function. So we create this function for the future reference. So like some functions are like some matrix functions are like rand function, inverse function, inv function, then transpose function. So like that we create our own function that finds square and cube root. Now we have to test that function with one number is required. Now this num value is called as a local variable, because for this program only we use num as a variable, so that it is a local variable. But this x is a reference to this test file, so that x become a global variable. So num equal to 23 we declare, and we call the function with the function name, and we have to pass the input variable inside the bracket. So this is our function call. So we should call. So this is called as a calling of function, and this file contain, it is a definition of function. So this file describes the definition and declaration of function. So we define the function with the function name, and we declare the function with this method, so that it is called as a definition as well as declaration. And this test file is, in the test file we have to call that function with function name and its input arguments. So how many arguments are there? Only single argument is there, so that we call the num as an argument, and we pass the number 23 to the num. Now we have to run this test file to test the function. So in editor, hit run, and in the command window we get the output of this function, or of this test. So we enter the value num equal, we enter the variable num equal to 23, and automatically it calculate the square and cube of the particular number. So likewise you create your own function and test that function in the another test file with extension again .m. But remember, this file file name should be different than the function name. We cannot store that file name with the function. We store the file name as a function name is only function file. So function file should have name same as function name. Remember this point. This is the key point of this function. So likewise we create the function and test the output of that particular function. Now switch to our presentation. Now switch to the presentation. Here I provide exercise 4, and which is related with some programming kind of stuff. You can do this programming for mobile users as well as desktop users also. So I have to give little bit hint about the linear equation solution. So here we create here we have three equations, that is 9x1 8x2 minus 9x1 plus 8x2 minus 2x3 is equals to 14, 2x1 minus 3x2. So like that we have three equations having three unknown quantities, that is x1, x2, x3. So the equation become ax equals to b. So three equations we have. So that A is become a matrix of 3 by 3, X is a matrix of 3 by 1, 3 rows and 1 column, and B is a matrix of again 3 rows 1 column. So you have to enter the matrix. You have to enter the A element in the matrix format, B in the matrix format, that is column matrix, and A is the 3 by 3 matrix, and you have to find out X. So rearrange this quantity as X is equals to A inverse into B. So we have the function for inverse matrix, that is INV. So we have to get the equation as X is equals to INV of A into B, so that we get the result for the X quantities, means X variables we get, and we can perform the solution to give solution for this linear equation. So likewise you can do this exercise. You can perform more exercise on this programming stuff, so that you are very familiar about the basic things of MATLAB. Then you can in the future you can perform the research kind of work with the help of MATLAB. If you have any doubt and query, then you can contact me here. My email ID and contact number is provided here. So you can get any help required with the MATLAB. And if you have any query about MATLAB, you can personally message me. So thank you for watching all the sessions conducted by me, and for the sake of token of appreciation from you, please do comment personally as well as in YouTube comment box how you feel about this session. Is it interesting for you? And if you have to discuss about the more advanced features of MATLAB in future, then you can message me, or you can message to the coordinators also. So thank you very much. If you have any doubt regarding this session, you can drop your message to the YouTube comment box. Thank you.